That would have been the smaller version. And look at this, we're getting close. We got number 1 coming in second this time. That's pretty good. Andy Atwell from Kingston. Now he's got a Ford D1010 of 1972. This is a big one. And you can see the typical Ford frontage of the 60s and 70s with their minibuses and everything else. But there we are, Andy's bringing in that. It was a cattle wagon all its working life, and now it's converted to a living wagon with a BR canteen body. So a bit of a mixture there, and that's pretty good. A lot of the advantage of the commercial vehicles very often, you see, is that, and some of the militaries, you can use the back of it, have an authentic cab or whatever you call it on the back, and use it as living accommodation. You can even disguise it as certain other things, but there we are. Bit of a change from the cattle it used to carry. But number 13 is coming in now. This is the last of a line, so it says here. Look at this, takes you back. Look, post office telephones, post office vans in red, post office telephones in green. Number 13 in the programme, 1962, Morris. Mr. Moore from Wellington. And it's the last roadworthy one. Takes you back, doesn't it, when the post office looked after everything. Life was much more simple then, back in the 50s and 60s. Bit more primitive, but a bit easier. Nobody had invented stress then, as far as I know. Number 7, now this is a regular. 1942 Bedford OXC. And Mark King from Taunton. This is his late father's machine. It's been a regular here for many years. It used to be a timber tractor, used at Roadwater, and now Mark's going along with the 2 little ones in the back. Nice to see it put to good use. So that would have been used for heavy duty work in time past. But Mark's father, Doug, restored that years ago, and I know he was always proud to have it at rallies, and it's nice to see Mark bring it along now. The old vehicles were often limited to 20. I see that one's limited to 30, which would be fast enough in a machine like that, I think. Anyway, number 6 is coming. Thornycroft, a well-known name in commercial vehicles in time past. 1949 this one goes back to. Roger Clark from Highbridge is the owner of this flatbed, and is in the livery of Mr. Atwood, who was a haulage contractor, number 4 in his fleet at that time. But Thornycroft, very well-known mate in commercial vehicles back in those days. Missed the number on that one, but again, and I've missed the make as well. But there we are. That one's being put to good use as well. No cab for living in, but I'm sure that one would have brought a tractor or 2 or something similar in time past. One of the rally helpers is driving it too, so we perhaps find out a bit more about it later on. In the meantime, we'll have a look at number 2. Bedford was always a well-known name, of course. This one of 1979. You can see the similarity with the pickup we saw earlier on. This was a fire service truck in its time, and then came from the post office. Mike Watson from Fivehead is the owner there, and the driver again. You can see the cab, which is now used as living accommodation. Got basic air conditioning too. Notice the vents on the open cab doors. Anyhow, that seems to complete our commercial lineup, but we're going to move on to the emergency vehicles, mainly fire engines, I think. And here we go then. Here are our fire appliances. Now, this is number 4. Dennis F26 wheeled escape ladder. As you can see, the ladder on wheels. They took some handling, but the fire service personnel were pretty good at that. Probably well trained. 1961 vintage, this one. John Godley, one of our regulars from Taunton, Oh, hi there, John, yeah. Yeah, he's been coming here for years, more than I would tell you. Ex-Glastonbury service, this one. That is a 50-foot wheeled escape ladder. As you can see, they take it off the machine, wheel it to where it's needed, and then wind the handles, and it extends way up to 50 feet. And some individual is sent up there then to do a good job. It served at Hinkley Point as a phone tender for many years. And 003, based in Dartmouth, but this is a Dennis F8. No, 006, I beg your pardon, sorry.
Hang on, 003, that's that one.
3 is the pump, yeah. Hang on, yeah. 3 is the fire engine. Yeah, it's a Dennis 955. Chris Swindle of Ottery is the driver and owner. It's been in preservation since 1970. It came from Dartmouth, where it spent time with the Devon Fire Brigade, and a gentleman called Frank Down, who used to be very much involved with rallies, was the owner. He named her Jemima, but it used to be red, but now it's in its original livery and still watched over by Chris. And its towing, exhibit number 6, the 1940 Dennis trailer pump. That's owned by another of our regulars, the old reprobate himself, Mike Widgery from Cullumpton, wherever he may be at present. Mike used to have his own fire appliance, but he's gone in for a pump instead to be towed around. Many were purchased by the Home Office during the Second World War. In those days, they'd have been towed by small horses or anything. If the horses were available, taxis and other towing vehicles. And then we've got number 2, which is the Bedford J2HCB, the water tender. Again, Devon registered of 1963. Keith Moore from Wellington is the owner. It was stationed at Linton from 1963. Exeter University acquired it, then as a China clay quarry pump. Don't know what they did with it. Anyhow, why they needed that. Anyhow, served with an estate engine at All Hallows School at Lyme Regis for many years, undergoing another restoration. And again, there's Keith, one of our regulars. He's been at All Hallows, Taunton School, you name it, he's been there. And he's always had I think I'm right in saying it, in the seats of learning at All Hallows and at Taunton, where he was based, he used that or a similar appliance and had groups of students who were trained up as firefighters. He's done a good job over the years. So there we are. So there are fire appliances, the majority of them. There are a couple more of vehicles which would attend incidents up at the emergency vehicle area. And we'll see if we've got any more appearing, whether we've got any PCVs. I did notice one, PSVs, one, but it may not have a driver, but we'll do the best we can.